You ready, Rich? Good to go. Here we go. I didn't want to rush you. Monday, July 13th, 2020. This is the time and place for a city commission meeting up here in South Dakota. Could we have a roll call, please?
Smith.
Here.
Close.
Here.
Bragg.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Harrington.
Here. Could you join me in pledge of allegiance, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public forum. Public comments may be sent to the live meeting broadcast on city's YouTube channel. The link is posted on city website, www.huronsd.com, city government. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with your YouTube and Gmail and use your existing accounts. Please state your name and address for the record. And we have Shauna on the phone tonight, so Shauna, if you get something, you can signal me and we'll stop and we'll answer any questions that may come in from the public. So with that, we'll move on. Agenda approval, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, second. Is there any discussion? Has anybody got any problems with the agenda or would like to add to the agenda? Hearing none, I have a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Close.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion. Unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item, items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. 4.1, minutes of July 6, 2020. 4.2, fuel quotes for city departments. 4.3, alcohol beverages consumption in public areas. Julie Peterson for a graduation party on July 25th at Prospect Park and Glide Slide Center. Bernie Schultz for a family reunion on August 2nd at Memorial Park South Shelter. Personnel items, 4.4, hiring for a part-time year-round library clerk position. Number 2, hiring for a 9/11 telecommunication position. 4.5, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion for the consent, to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bragg, second by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Close.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving right along. We're going to have a semi-update, annual update of the Huron Event Center with Brenda. She's here tonight. And she's going to tell us what's going on.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you. It's been rather slow at the event center. We haven't had any events from March 15th to June 4th. We didn't host any events during that time. We have been starting to schedule meetings. We've had some smaller events that have been calling, and so we've been scheduling them and getting them started. We had a couple meetings last week. We got a couple this week, so things are starting to move slowly. They're not huge meetings, but there's some meetings and some activity going on. The first part of the year, I spent a lot of time scheduling and rescheduling and trying to move conventions and weddings. Some of the conventions were able to, a couple of them I was able to reschedule. We canceled a couple of them again. Moved one to later this fall, one to next year, because they're already booked out for next year and the year after that. I'm hoping that maybe the next time that their bid process is coming up, we can keep our name in front of them, and hopefully they'll come to Huron knowing that they had to cancel this past year. So with that being said, I'm hoping we can keep our name out in front of them and get them to come in the next few years. Our weddings have been kind of a nightmare. We've lost several weddings. A lot of them have still gotten married, but they've done smaller family get-togethers. A couple of them have said they're gonna do like receptions next year. I'm hoping they still will, but we'll see. One wedding I've rescheduled 3 times, or I've scheduled it 3 times. We've got 3 different dates. 2 of them we've rescheduled, so I'm hoping in November this poor bride will be able to get married. And starting in August, we've rescheduled 4 or 5 of our weddings from the summer to the month of August. So if everything goes well, we'll have some weddings coming up in August. We are doing the CDC guidelines, social distancing, 25 tables, all those guidelines are in place, and all of these brides know that, and they're okay with it. Some of the larger weddings that were going to be 400 are gonna be a lot less, but they seem to be okay with that, so. During February, the event center, we were able to get the wallpaper stripped off, get the texture done and the painting, so in the lobby and the hallway. So if you haven't been over and seen that, it looks really nice. It looks a lot better. The theme, it's more modern, more updated. I'm really hoping that maybe for next year we can get the 2 ballrooms and the meeting rooms, the wallpaper off, and get those updated to match the meeting rooms or to match the lobby as well. But if you haven't seen those, you should stop by and take a look. It does look really nice. During our slow time, I took advantage and updated my convention contacts. I haven't had a lot of time to update that file, so I had time now to go through it, make convention contacts. I contacted about over 100 conventions the last few months. A lot of them, the offices are closed or they don't know how things are gonna go, but I sent packets to a lot of them, got our name out, visited with them, trying to keep in contact with new conventions that either haven't been to the event center or it's been quite a while since they have been there. So just trying to get some new business maybe when all of this slows back down again. So over the last 6 months, we were able to secure 2 conventions, but at the same time, 6 of the conventions that we did send formal bids for chose other locations to go to. So that was kind of a bummer, but we also were able to book 4 weddings, for 1 at the end of the December and then 3 for next year. So we do have a few weddings on the books. Even this was kind of a scary year and had to reschedule and things, so we do have a few things, hopefully if everything goes well, on the books for next year. Other than rescheduling meetings and trying to keep our name out, make convention contacts, just trying to plug forward, working on our budget. The budget is due here real shortly, so I've been updating that, and would really like to get the ballrooms renovated to match the lobby. So that will be one of the big items I'll be throwing at you guys, so. Other than that, hopefully business will soon pick up.
Any questions for Brenda? Thank you for providing this.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I know that many people are making changes and having a difficult time rescheduling things and trying to forecast what's going to happen in the future with the COVID-19. I made a statement previously that there's some people in town that are under the bubble right now. One is our state fair manager, and the other one is our school superintendent. And I think I'm going to add you to that list too. Those type of people that have got to change on the fly and really don't know what's coming. do appreciate what you do for our city. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Okay. Ordinance and Resolution 7.1, Resolution 2020-10, School Resource Officer Services for Huron School District. Chief of Police volunteered. He was going to talk to me about this tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. It was brought to my attention about a month or so ago that our current resolution between the city and the Huron School District expired at the end of last year. I spoke with Kelly Christopherson, the business manager for the school. He's spoken to all the administrators throughout the school district, and they all agree that they need an SRO. We offered them a 3% increase, just like we have for the last 5 years. They're willing to take care of that and sign a resolution to have us provide the school resource officer for the next 5 years. We looked at the one officer that had mentioned he was interested, so I brought up his wages for today. With the wages that we have, if we use his current salary, the school district would pay us $23,881.05, and the city would pay $22,999. So that's more than 50% that the school would pay. And over the last 2 years, since we've been short officers, we've been pulling the school resource officer out of the school and using him on the street, which is in the resolution that we can do that if we're short officers, and they're willing to take care of that. It's a huge benefit for us because the officer knows who the young people are in the community. It lets them know that officers aren't bad people, that they can trust us if they have a problem. But it also helps us if we have juveniles committing crimes in the public. So it's a benefit all the way around to us and to the school district. And I would just ask you to approve the resolution to allow us to have an SRO for the next 5 years. 3% increase each year.
Any questions? We'll wait this way. Need a motion on that to approve?
I would move to approve resolution number 2020-10.
Need a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? Mr. Hood.
Chief, so I take it the only change is the amount for the services and then the year?
Correct.
So-
Everything else is identical, and we're just
That's what
changing
we
the
had
cost.
before.
Just a continuation of the exact one that we've been using for the last 5 years.
I guess my only question was, because of the pandemic, if they don't have school, or if school was suddenly halted, would we get paid? Like, did we get paid?
Yes. We
Last
continue
year
to get
when
paid.
school was called off?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They continue, that's kind of like when we pull them out of the school and use them on the street, they continue to pay that.
All right. Thank you.
I think if I can add to that, maybe even with the pandemic, if the kids are not in school, but there's trouble with school kids, this officer would still be called.
Yes, last year when they called school off, Christian Rodacker was our SRO, and he was doing home visits when the school had a student that wasn't doing their homework or wasn't responding to the teachers. They would send that officer to their house.
Really?
So,
Do they do that during the school year?
Yes.
too? Yep. I didn't know that. I guess I thought it was just, they were there to make sure that nothing got out of hand and that kind of thing.
No, they investigate any crimes that we have that would be reported at the school itself. It could be an assault or anything that took place during, or a theft. That officer is the one that's doing the investigation, so we don't have to have a street officer come off the street to go to the school to take care of that. They do truancy investigations, anything that is related to the school district.
There's kind of a social worker aspect to it then too.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes. Tucker.
Yes, Mayor, just a few things I would like to point out. First, piggybacking off Mr. Kluge's point, what if they don't have school? Will we still get paid? Would we want to add a provision in the contract the same. Number two, when will the fee be paid? Now, there's obviously this is a contract that's been performed, probably have accustomed to that. Number three, when's the effective date of the contract? You may consider adding a provision that it's effective upon when both the commission and the school board have approved the same. So we know an effective date, when the fee is going to be paid. And also you may want to consider adding a provision that if there is no school, we'll still get paid by the school district.
Well, with our city attorney opining that maybe it needs some work, perhaps we should table it till next week. I don't think there's any real hurry, is there?
No, I would welcome any change that he would think needs to be done so that we don't run into a bind.
I'd move to table it for a week.
Okay. So with that, we will table this till next week. We need a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll need a motion.
Well, I made
Okay, second then? Second by Commissioner Smith. Any other more discussion on that?
So then as part of that, then we're asking our city attorney to make those changes and present it to us next week.
Well, yeah, I guess he needs to have his input and discuss that with the chief, and based on what he said, I would anticipate there would be some changes that would be included in the document.
Sounds good. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, with that, if there's nothing more, we're done for the night.
17 minutes, I predicted 15 to 20.